Congresswoman.
Hello again. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Good Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Here I am asking questions. Kakatabi ko lang na I won't ask. But this is, as mentioned, for Congressman Tof de Venecia of Pangasinan. Let me just read his question. First is about the SLPs, or the Sustainable Livelihood Program. The SLP in Pangasinan's 4th District has been a key project to improve socioeconomic outcomes in communities. May I ask the DSWD who are the primary clients of the SLP and what criteria are used?
Well, it sticks to the main mandate, Madam Chair, of the department: the poor, the marginalized, and the vulnerable.
Okay.
So if you fall in those categories, you'll be entitled to your SLP if you do apply. Second, obviously, it goes without saying that there are pre-requirements to it, like submitting of a plan that you want to fund, that you want funded, and one thing though, we re-engineered it. There used to be a difficult time about making sure that a big chunk of it will go to the 4P'S. Though we give them priority, we make sure that everybody that falls in those poor, marginalized, and vulnerable category are entitled to the SLP.
Okay. So
We use the SLP, Madam Chair, if I can add, we use the SLP means test.
Okay.
Where our social workers go there, validate the well-being or the total status of living of that individual, and ascertain kung pwede siya or hindi siya pwede sa loob ng programa.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair. There's an additional question here about the policy of the SWD, if anybody can do business, or that some have business proclivity already and some are more akin to be employees. So is there like a, I think, parang naka-categorize natin siya whether they can do business or they can just be employees.
Madam Chair, actually there are two tracks to the SLP. There's an Entrepreneurship Act, a track, Micro Enterprise Act, and there's
Okay.
a job employment track.
Okay.
Though the more popular track will always be the entrepreneurship, but we do understand that other people want employment. Actually, as a added information, we are working now with Dole on signing a MOA because they have a very good job start program. So we want to tap into their expertise on employment, capacity building for employability, and then funding those people who want to get employed using the SLP. We're actually exploring that with Dole right now, and we're fine-tuning the memorandum of agreement soon.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The congressman's here already, Mayor.
Sorry, I just interpreted.
Let me recognize Tof.
Yes, thank you. Nagsabay talaga. Yes, no. Okay, so thank you, Kong Nika, for asking that question. And again, good afternoon to the DSWD family, to all my dear friends. Yusek M, shout out. Secrex, everyone here, and CIP. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to ask about the Sustainable Livelihood Program of DSWD because this is a program that I very much agree with. It's something that I'm passionate about, and livelihood is really my core advocacy. So I know that you have a role to play in this, and I think you've answered the question on how clients are identified for the SLP. So I want to ask if DSWD has a policy on maybe the psychographic of the particular client. Are we of the belief system that anybody can do livelihood insofar as running a business, owning a business? Because I haven't seen formal studies, but just right shopping and consulting with clients, it seems like not everybody has the proclivity towards business, and some are really more of employees.
Madam Chair, actually, that was the story I was talking about. We do understand that not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to start your business. So what we are now doing is tapping into the expertise of Dole to be able to help us assess. They have a very good job start program, and like I said, we are about to sign a memorandum of agreement with them so that they can do the assessment as to whether or not the person is meant to be employed or the person is meant to do a livelihood enterprise. And then when they are meant really for employment, that the Dole uses their program, their pre-established job start program, and that afterwards we finance them so that they can do their first-time job costs or whatever that they may need. But we do understand that not everybody is meant for entrepreneurship.
Okay. Great. So I very much agree with that policy. So we look forward to a closer synergy with DOLE and even DTI, since they're the ones charged with developing MSMEs.
We started exploring with DTI, but I'm not sure if this is correct. But see, DTI's gateway will always be small business corporation.
Insofar as financing.
Correct. And our clients are informal in nature. They have no track record to speak of. So the main goal is to build reputation or a business track for the next 5 years that we supervise them under the SLP, with the hopes of formalizing themselves so that we can tap into the SBC much later on after the 5th year. We understand that if a informal sector association suddenly goes to DTI and just says, look, I want more capital, chances are they won't get approved. So it is our task to turn our informal associations into formal small business enterprises that can tap into the other financing mechanisms available in government.
Yeah, but they do avail also of like the other interventions, like, you know, shared service facility. You're very aware of this as a former mayor also. So yes, I'll move on. So with SLPs, so as the clients are identified, so they receive support mechanisms from the SWD. May we inquire as to the nature of these support mechanisms?
In the SLP program?
Yes.
Well, one, they do get technical assistance. We do have existing partnerships. We don't have the technical expertise to do these things. That's why we have existing partnerships with TESDA, with DOLE, but we're strengthening the one with DOLE. From a MOU, we're enriching it and really literally tapping into the Job Start program, which I had discussed with Secretary Laguesma. We're also working with DOT because they have a very vibrant tourism Jump Start business program for especially for areas that are emerging tourist destinations. Creative arts is also, I think, something that the DOT has been trying to push. So DTI, sorry. So the way I always tell secretaries, we don't have the technical capacity. They have the know-how. So tapping into their wealth of know-how, we do the financing. I'm not saying that our grants are infinite, but it's more of complementing each other's strength. They have the know-how, we have the grants, so let's dance together. Put it that way, Madam Chair.
So, Madam Chair, it's a cash grant. The SLP is a cash grant, or
it's a cash grant with technical assistance, but the technical assistance primarily cannot be driven by our own department alone. That's why we have to work with these other departments who can do the technical assistance.
Okay, so are there also equipment provided similar to like the STEP program?
None. Everything in our department are cash-based grants.
So I think with institutional synergy between the SWD that provides like the cash grant and TESDA that provides like the equipment grant through their STEP, and then the technical assistance also from the other agencies to equip them with the skills, I think it's really going to be a holistic intervention. So I really applaud the Secretary for thinking of that. So I'll move on to okay, so monitoring of the success rate of the SLP clients. So do we have a regular mechanism that checks if their businesses are doing well, if they've formalized, registered their businesses with SEC, or as BMBEs, if they've registered it with appropriate government agency for a business permit? And then 2, are they moving up the ladder from micro to small to medium, maybe even medium to large? Who knows, diba? There are people who really start very humbly. 3, if any of them kind of face some challenges and then they just had business discontinuity altogether, and then what interventions are we doing?
Well, initially, when I joined the department, there's a lot left to be desired with the SLP monitoring or post-monitoring program, post-grant monitoring period. Initially, it was just a one-time grant, as mentioned a while ago. And then we say goodbye, then we tick our box saying that we hit the target. Now, we reformatted it and called it the CBOL program, CBOL like a plan. It's now a 5-year program wherein you get your initial grant on year 1. On year 2, we look for certain indexes, as you mentioned, some type of net income, some type of formalization process, some type of jobs generation. And then, if you see those indexes, we do give them a 3rd-year grant for the group, which is 100,000. And then we again do technical assistance and monitor them on year 4, look for more signs of growing and formalizing, and then they get another 250,000 on year 5.
Wonderful.
It's more of a self-incentivization that if you strive hard, try to formalize yourself, strengthen yourself, then you get more grants along the way. It's a 5-year sustainability plan with the hopes that on year 6, they have some type of business track record that you can give to you. Then we can pass them on to DTI's SBC or CDC and apply for a co-op grant or anything to that same nature.
Great. Sorry, Madam Chair, just one last question. So, the Livelihood grants have been seeded. They've brainstormed amongst themselves. Probably they had a proposal before they accessed the grant to be able to produce the product. So, I just wanted to ask finally, Madam Chair, if DSWD has an MOU with DTI so that these products are onboarded into like the trade fairs, the mga Go Negosyo trade fairs, the DTI regional trade fairs, the institutional trade fairs from the Office of the Secretary based in NCR, whether it's in Mega Mall or Glorieta or even the regional trade fairs, all of that.
Actually, we have existing partnerships even with Go Negosyo. They do the cap build for us. It's a new partnership we have with them because we acknowledge that we don't know everything. We don't have a monopoly to technical know-how. So, but right now what we're doing is enriching and making those partnerships even more robust than your standard. You train, we give the money, but making sure that the monitoring system happens both ways. So yes, we do have an existing agreement with DTI that we're also planning to revisit and strengthen some more.
Great.
So as I mentioned, TESDA, DTI, Go Negosyo, DOT, DOLE, CHED, not CHED, DOST. So we believe in all of government approach based on the President's directive, and he has made himself very clear that departments cannot operate in silos, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And congrats to the DSWD family. I'm a fan. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.